Did farming push you through school?
No, it didn't. It didn't. It didn't push me. But there was a time growing up, I think the time I was in high school, mom would just tell dad deliberate to say, you know what, maybe don't buy this for them. Maybe it could be books, study materials. Maybe they'll do like a small portion of rep. They'll raise money. So it used to get to me that, why is this woman doing this when my dad can afford everything? But as time went by, I came to understand the kind of values that she was trying to inculcate in us. Hi, my name is Msiwa Sekwivere, a cybersecurity analyst by profession, as well as farmer. Welcome to Maize Farm, a family-owned venture which specializes in winter maize, onion, tomatoes, as well as fresh vegetables. If you want to learn more about winter maize, make sure you watch this video till the end.
For the sake of Africa, let's share this video and let's gather here to learn and grow together. Like this video, leave us a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. When you like this video, you help us to push this video to as many people as we can. And when you subscribe, you join our community and you won't miss any video that we drop. My name is Akoza Piri and you are watching The Stones. Tell me one thing, how does someone move from tech and computers to farming? How did you find yourself here?
So I grew up in a farming environment. My parents have been farmers their entire life. So seeing the many things that they have done through farming pushed that drive and inspired me quite a lot to actually venture into farming as well. Yeah, I just saw the benefits of it in terms of cash flow, in terms of not having to buy anything to eat, not each and every stuff you're supposed to buy, from vegetables and everything like that. So I got that inspiration from them, and then I'm here now. The profits you get from winter maize in percentage, I would put it at 75-80 profits. Then the other 30-25 goes on operational costs. Yeah, because
so it's that profitable?
Yes, it is. It is. Yeah, it is.
So meaning guaranteed you get 80% return on investment.
Exactly.
Growing maize is one thing, but selling maize is another thing. So what's your strategy for getting this maize on the market, or who are your market?
So our market is actually, our local marketeers. Yeah.
Have you ever made a loss from winter maize?
We have, yes.
What happened?
There was a time we did a hectare of winter maize. We never got anything from that field. So it was a huge loss. We spent about, I think close to 15,000 just on fertilizers. Seeds, it was close to 2,500. Yeah, plus these other unforeseen costs like transports and everything that, yeah, it was a huge blow.
Maize is more than just a crop in Zambia. It's the foundation of our daily lives. Every day, millions of Zambians sit down to eat nshima, a meal prepared by maize that has fed many generations. Yet every year, farmers gamble against the forces of nature, relying on seasonal rains to produce the most important crop in the country. But what happens when the rains don't come? What does it take to grow the food that feeds an entire nation? Today, we are taking you deep into the fields of Zambia to uncover the challenges, opportunities, and untold stories behind the crop that keeps a nation alive. Now, on this channel, we're always trying to help that person out there in Zambia, in Africa, or around the world. And we want to help them to cut down costs so that they can see more profits in their production. Tell us, how much can someone spend on a farm like this on drippers? This is the story of maize, the crop that feeds the nation. But some have found a way to grow it off-season. Today, we are meeting a young entrepreneur and farmer who has chosen the unconventional route of growing this crop off-season. You know one interesting thing? Most of the people that we bring on this platform are those that have chosen to break the stereotypes that things can only work in one way. I think that is one of their secrets to their success. That's interesting.
Sure.
Now, many farmers who go into maize talk about the cost of inputs to grow maize, and one of the biggest costs being fertilizers. How are you managing to cope with that? And what kind of fertilizers are you using on this farm?
Okay. So, you know, in farming, the greatest mistake one can ever make is failing to prepare. You know, as the saying goes, failing to prepare is preparing to fail. Okay. So before you do a project when it comes to winter maize, you first need to assess what you need. It could be fertilizers, pesticides, okay? So you need to do an analysis of that. So I would give an example. The block behind us here is a 50 by 50 in size. So beforehand, I would know that for a 50 by 50, I would need about 4 to 6 bags of fertilizer. Yeah. If I'm using 4 bags, then 2 have to be basal dressing, which is decompound. Then 2 have to be top dressing, urea. So I need to have that information beforehand and the resources to buy that. Because mind you, I'm getting money out of the crop after 3 months. So those inputs have to be there beforehand. Not a situation whereby you venture into a project, then midway, that's when you realize that no, you're facing these challenges. So I think that's where most farmers miss it. But if you have everything planned, then the project runs smoothly. That I can guarantee. Yeah, and for fertilizers, we use Omnia fertilizers. Yeah, those are the fertilizers we use, and they are the ones that have actually worked best for us. Yeah.
How are you managing the water? Because I know winter maize is an off-season crop. So how are you managing the water demand for the crop?
Okay. So the way we are managing the water demand is, initially when we started, we were using the traditional method of manually irrigating using hose pipes and everything. But that on its own has got disadvantages.
Ah.
Yes, it has got disadvantages. The major disadvantage is you don't get to have that maximum yield that you would require when the maize is market ready. Okay, because you would be depriving the crops of water.
Yeah.
That's number one. And there's too much wastage of water. So after doing some analysis, we switched to drip irrigation. That's what we are currently using. So depending on the variety of maize that we want to plant, we tailor it to the type of drips that would actually use. So this block, we used 40 centimeter spacing. By 40 centimeter, I mean the spacing between each crop. Yeah. It's 40 centimeter, and they are geo emitters. So that has actually helped us a lot in terms of managing water, as well as making sure that our crops get adequate of it. Yes. And just to add on, the way we make sure that these crops have adequate water is our water doesn't come from the tank.
Yeah.
So we use a technique called direct irrigation, meaning as the pump is pumping, the water is being fed, is being fed into our drip irrigation system, as opposed to what other people do when they fill up tanks. It's another way of farming. Yeah, but you know, I love telling people that it's a very funny it's a very funny example. Yeah, I like telling people that, you know, farming is like marriage, huh? Yeah, it's very funny, but yeah, it's like that. So what works best for others won't actually work best for you.
Yeah.
So for us, what works best is pumping water direct from the borehole, feeding into the drip irrigation system. Yes.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah.
Now, you know, on this channel, we're always trying to help that person out there in Zambia, in Africa, or around the world. And we want to help them to cut down costs so that they can see more profit in their production. Tell us, how much can someone spend on a farm like this on drippers?
On drippers. Okay. All right. So I'll go back to the point that I'd actually stressed when we started. It all begins with planning. Okay. So with proper planning, then everything flows smoothly. So I'll give an example. First of all, the number one factor that someone has to consider is the size or the portion of maize that they want to do.
Yeah.
Is it a hectare? Is it a lima, which is a 50 by 50? Is it an acre? Okay, so you tailor it based on your financial capabilities. Okay, so I'll give an example with what we have here. 50 by 50. If you are using 40 centimeter spacing, each drip row, it's 1,000 meters in total length.
Oh.
Yes. So meaning, if you measure 50 by 50, so if you divide 1,000 divided by 50, you would find that each drip row gives you 20 lines of maize. Okay, it gives you 20 lines of maize. So you begin from that. So is 20 lines okay for you? Are you going to get the much expected income that you deserve or that you want at the end of the day? Because that actually what matters, or those are the factors you have to put into consideration. Then from there, you also have to take into consideration the type of drippers in terms of thickness. They are 0.2 millimeters, 0.3. Also that affects the cost of the drippers. Okay, so again, I'll still come back. It's all about planning. You plan, make sure your inputs are ready, they are available, your fertilizers are all in place, so that when that time comes to apply fertilizers, you just apply fertilizers like that.
All right. And how much did it cost you to buy like drippers? How much are they?
So drippers, for the we bought this, I think we've used these for over a year and some months, because the goodness with drippers, they are reusable. So at the time we were buying a 40 centimeter row at 1,150 kwacha. Yes. So again, they vary in price depending on the spacing and the thickness of the dripper. So if you want something that would last you maybe 3-4 years, you go for the thicker ones, which are 0.4 millimeters in thickness. Yeah. So at the time when we were buying these drippers, we were buying each row at 1,150 kwacha. Yeah.
Okay. And you've had this for how long?
We've had them for about a year and 3 months now. I mean, a year and 3-4 months somewhere.
I see. Growing maize is one thing, but selling maize is another thing. So what's your strategy for getting this maize on the market, or who are your market?
Okay. So our market is actually, our local marketeers. Yeah, they're the ones that buy from us. And they've really done a great deal, because if one comes, they buy from us, they test the quality, where it goes out there.
Yeah.
Then it's more of this person recommended you to this other marketeer and everything like that. So we've got traders from Soweto. Yeah, we've got people that come from 10 miles. They usually come to buy from us. Yeah. So we want to now start supplying supermarkets now. That's what we're working towards. Yeah.
So how is the demand for winter maize? And how profitable is it?
It's very profitable. It's very much profitable. People are used to having maize at the end of the year. Maybe they plant in December, January, February, they start harvesting, having fresh maize and everything. But if you have something that you plant even the time that people don't have access to it, that on its own, you're creating demand. There's demand. So the demand for maize is there. Okay. One secret part about farming is knowing what to plant and when to plant it. Yeah. So the demand is there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then how do you sell them? Do you sell them per portion? Do you sell them per cob? How are you selling the winter maize?
Okay. So it depends with what the marketeer wants. So there are some that would want to buy per cob. Then there are some that would prefer buying in units. Yeah. So, and again, it depends on the demand. You would find that maybe the time it's ready, you would make more money selling the cob as opposed to selling the unit. So all those factors come into play. And currently, the market price per cob is 5 kwacha. So, and we are hoping and praying it remains like that the weeks to come. So that
who sets the prices for the cobs?
It's that's a very difficult one to actually know, but maybe to answer your question, let me just give a practical scenario. Winter maize gets attacked by a lot of pesticides, fungicides. So you'd find that a certain period of time, farmers tend to spare away.
Yeah.
Because it's really demanding to grow it. Yeah. But if you position yourself to actually grow the best you can, then you're set here, then you're good. So that's where the demand comes in. It all comes in into how many people have actually planted maize during that time.
Yeah.
Same as tomato. There are times a box would go for 100 kwacha, and then maybe a few weeks you'll be surprised the box goes at 600 kwacha, and then so it's a matter of how many people have planted that crop at that particular time. Yeah, and a lot of people stay away from winter maize because of armyworms, and all those kinds of diseases. So, but if you just have the right planning, you've planned in advance, at this stage, my maize will be attacked by what and what not. You are ready in advance, you're fully prepared, then you're going to have the best yield you ever hope for.
So when we talk about profits, looking at the amount of inputs that you spent, how much are we talking about what percentage are we talking about when it comes to the profits that you get from winter maize?
Okay. So the profits you get from winter maize in percentage, I would put it at 75-80 profits. Then the other 30-25 costs on operational costs. Yeah, because
so it's that profitable.
Yes, it is. It is. Yeah, it is.
So meaning guaranteed you get 80% return on investment.
Exactly. So, like I said, if you're doing a 50 by 50, minimum, the number of bags you need, both top dressing and basal dressing, are 6, 3 each. on a 50 by 50. That's a lima. So you would find that maybe on fertilizer, you will spend about maybe close to maybe, if you're buying 6 bags, you would spend about maybe 6,000. That's a thousand per bag. Yeah. And if you are selling per cob, I would maybe give an example in terms of numbers now. So each station, we call it a station, each station would have maybe a minimum of 2 cobs, and you're planting 2 per station, 2 per station.
So I mean, that's 4 per station.
That's 4, yes. And maybe if everything comes to the west, maybe you are selling at maybe let's say maybe 3 kwacha or 4 kwacha, like that, depending on the demand at that time. So you'd find that you multiply the number of stations you have in a row, okay? Then you multiply it to the number, I mean, the cost of the cob at that time. Okay, and then you do your math of that. But on average, a 50 by 50, if you do the math, the math right, it can give you about 35,000 kwacha.
From your 6,000?
Yes, it can give you 35, yes.
So meaning, we're talking about maybe buying seed,
that's just
fertilizers, operational costs could be about 10,000, and then you make 35,000 from the field?
Yes. That's for just a lima, a 50 by 50. Yeah. Now imagine doing a hectare or maybe 2 hectares. So winter maize it's that profitable. Just proper management, enough water, you are prepared, your fertilizers are in place, your pesticides, fungicides, they're all in place, then you are good.
Have you ever made a loss from winter maize?
We have, yes.
What happened?
In every business, losses are there. And it's just about managing the risks that actually cause the losses. So one of the losses that we have actually incurred here, there was a time we did a hectare of winter maize. We did a hectare. We never had enough manpower, so we were relying on, we had 1 week at that time, and we just used to bring in people to actually help us with the weeding and everything. So it was more of like a remote farming kind of project like that. Yeah. So we actually made a very huge loss in the sense that we never got anything from that field, even after applying the fertilizers, because people just stopped showing up for work.
Because you were not present on site.
So they just stopped showing up. And the time we discovered that this is what was happening, it was too late. And imagine we had already done our basal dressing, we'd already done our top dressing. Okay, because top dressing we apply twice. So we first do the basal dressing once, then top dressing we apply twice. So it was a huge loss. We spent about I think close to 15,000 just on fertilizers. Seeds, it was close to 2,500, plus these other unforeseen costs like transport and everything that, it was a huge blow.
What mistakes did you make when you were starting winter maize?
Okay, so
what have you learned so far?
So the mistakes we made when starting winter maize is the same one I talked about, doing them in furrows. Because the time we started winter maize, drippers were already there. But we just used to see them from afar. People are using drippers. What are those things? Okay, what are those things? But when we got interest to say, let's try to use them, we bought a row. Then we tried to do about that. I think that was 3 lines. And we were very much happy. And then we said, let's go this road.
You mentioned about armyworms and pests. How do you manage to combat that?
So each stage comes with its own challenges, and each and every challenge has got its solution, definitely. So for us to combat those challenges, we rely on pesticides and insecticides like Dean Super, Bravo, just to mention a few. So they have really worked very much for us, and they're very much effective. So we know definitely that, come what, we are going to definitely manage those challenges as long as we have those tools in our arsenal. Yeah.
When you compare the two, between the yields of winter maize and the yields of the seasonal maize, what's your comparison? Knowing that you do both of these.
Okay. So the comparison is that winter maize does well in the sense that you irrigate continuously. You have no hope that it's going to rain. You are definitely you have it at the back of your mind that there's no rain. You just have to irrigate. Seasonal maize, it doesn't do well. Issues, climate change and all that, the rainfall pattern, all those affect the seasonal maize.
So meaning it's more profitable to do winter maize for you than seasonal maize.
Exactly, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
As a cybersecurity professional, are you using any digital agri-tech here?
No, at the moment, we are not doing that, but actually that's actually the direction we are headed towards, because we don't want a situation where we are opening drip valves manually. So we want to have a system where, if it irrigates, maybe for a period of maybe 1 hour, it cuts on its own, so that at least we eliminate that aspect of having to check maybe after an hour or two. Okay, is the water enough? We waste this, we close this portion, we open another one. So that's the direction we are going. But at the moment, we're not using any tech.
That's possible?
It's possible, yes. It's possible. There's a video I came across actually. There's certain systems in place. I'm not really sure if there are anyone, people using them currently in Zambia, but I just saw them in China. They are such kind of setups, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So meaning you could be at work and
yes,
you had a click of a button,
yes, exactly.
you irrigate your farm.
You get your farm and then life continues. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Do you think Zambia has got opportunities?
Yes, and very much. There are a lot of opportunities, especially when it comes to the field of agriculture, because agriculture business on its own, it's a self-sustaining business, in the sense that people eat every day. And actually an opportunity comes in when you're solving a problem. Okay, so that's the problem you're solving. People have to eat every day. So Zambia's got a lot of opportunities. We've got vast of land, and this is why I encourage even friends in my circle to, we are in the process of actually forming a cooperative, where maybe we can actually access certain benefits that we currently do not have at the moment. Yeah. So, growing up in that environment of farming and everything, I've seen opportunities. First, just start by having land, then everything will follow. Yeah.
Okay. If you had an opportunity to change one thing in Zambia, what would you change?
Okay. If I had one opportunity to change one thing in Zambia, I'll streamline it to agriculture. Is changing the costs of agricultural inputs. There's one Chinese man who said, if you want to make money, maybe in any business, but even in agriculture it applies, you have to own the whole supply chain. Okay, of which maybe it can be impossible at the time, but if there can be a way of maybe reducing the cost of inputs, fertilizers, insecticides, pesticides and everything like that, I would be happy as a farmer. Yeah, that's one thing I would actually love to change. Yeah, because that's where most of the costs go towards, especially fertilizers.
Yeah. Have you considered going organic?
No.
Why not?
Organic ones, it's a practice that I haven't really gotten into. You know, I see a lot of people practicing it and it works for them, but I think maybe it's just a matter of just interest. And, you know, when it comes to minimize cost, you just have to adapt and definitely consider doing that in the near future. Yeah.
I hope this video helps someone out there in Africa. So see you next Friday, same time, same place, at 14 hours for our next video.